Welcome to the bright side of 50. Hey, y'all. Hey, welcome to another episode of the bright side of 50 with Carla Palmer. All right, so I'm trying to hide my nails because they're not done. But you know what? We're keeping it 100 here on the bright side of 50. So you're going to see chipped nails. I know that I am not the only one who experiences times when you haven't had a moment to go to the nail shop. Life got ahead of you and you didn't get a chance to go. So anyway, today we're going to be talking about dining out. And I wanted to have this conversation because, sis, the word on the street is you don't like going out to eat alone. Word on the street is that you get anxiety around that. Word on the street is that you think a lot of people are looking at you and thinking that you are weird. So we're going to stop that. Okay, we're going to stop that. Even if we have to ease into it, we're going to stop that because number one, people don't think you're weird. Number two is sometimes people are looking at you and they are admiring the fact that you can go out and dine alone and be comfortable with that and not even have to take a book or not even have to be on your phone. Now, if you need those tools to make yourself feel comfortable, by all means, do that. But you don't need those things. And I'm telling you, if anybody's looking at you, they are admiring you. So I've been going out to eat well over a decade by myself. I look at it as the ultimate treat. I can go where I want. I can sit anywhere in the restaurant that I want to sit in. And I can stay as long as I want and enjoy my time by myself. And it's sort of it's a treat and also a meditative practice for me. So I love to do it. But like I said, word on the street is that you do not. And so I want to help you feel better about that. And I want to help you ease into that if you need to do that. Okay. So as a single woman who has been single for well over a decade and a half, if you want to go ahead and add the half on, I've been single for a long time. And I refuse to wait around for somebody to take me to nice restaurants that I want to try or nice restaurants that I've tried and I love. So I take myself. And I want you to be comfortable doing the same thing, okay? Because all the time, our friends aren't going to be available. Some of our friends are married and they'll be doing those things with their husband or their wife. So we need to get into the practice of doing what we want, what's going to make us happy, what's going to make us feel good, and allowing ourselves to enjoy some of the things that couples enjoy on a regular basis, okay? Now, I took myself out to dinner the other night, and what I noticed about Open Table, which is the third-party app that you use to book a table at a restaurant, what I noticed is that they aren't kind to solo diners. If you put in on the app that you want a table at 7 p.m., I'm sweating profusely, so excuse me. The lighting is lighting, but it's also making me sweat. If you want a table for 1 at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, whatever time, there's never a table available. But then if you put in a table for 2, all of a sudden, all of these options pop up for a number of reasons. One is the restaurant probably is just trying to make the most money off of a 2 table, right? And they don't want one person sitting there because in their mind, one person is going to spend less, stay longer, drink less, and they would make more money, the waiter for the tips, and also the restaurant would make more money off of 2 people sitting at that table. So the trick is, and they don't love it when you get to the hostess station and it's only you, but the trick is just to put in that you're dining for 2 and you show up at the restaurant and you say, oh, it's just me. They don't ask a lot of questions because they don't want to discriminate outwardly. I've never been met with any frustration, but I've heard that people have been met with frustration because the restaurant, of course, wants the 2 people. They'll get over it. Let them get over it. Now, they may try to ask you if you want a seat at the bar. I don't sit at the bar unless I want to sit at the bar. You're not going to take me to the bar and have me sit there when I came to spend my money on a certain type of experience. And the bar has a different experience than sitting at a table. So if I come to the restaurant to sit at a table, that is where I prefer to sit. If you want to sit me somewhere that is not in the middle of the room and somewhere that's more in the corner, I'm fine with that. Don't sit me by the kitchen. So I'm going to be a little particular about where I'm sitting if I'm going to be spending my money. And I want you to feel bold enough and assertive enough to do the same thing. Don't allow them to sit you at the bar if you don't want to sit at the bar, because that experience is going to be you doing probably a lot of chatting. You're going to be watching people make drinks. I only want that experience when I sign up for that experience. And so I want you to keep that in mind as well. Now, hey sis, hey, I just wanted to take a moment to ask you, have you subscribed to The Bright Side of 50 with Carla Palmer? If you have not, could you please take a moment, if you like the podcast, take a moment now to hit the subscribe button so that you become a subscriber. Turn on your notifications so that you're notified when a new episode drops, okay? Also, follow me on Instagram. I am The Bright Side of 50 over there on Instagram too. Thank you so much. Now I'll let you get back to the episode. Here's the thing. If you don't want to start off going on solo dining alone in the evening at 6:30, 7 o'clock, where, it's going to be a lot of people there, probably on dates and that sort of thing, start off with breakfast. Start off with solo dining at breakfast. You can also sit at the bar at breakfast if that's what you want to do. Like if you want to ease yourself into this thing, that's okay. And then you can also move on into solo dining at lunch, right? Because it's still pretty casual at most places. And then if you want to ease yourself into solo dining at dinner at some of the more finer restaurants, then you can ease yourself into that. But babe, sis, honey bunches, we're not going to be afraid to do this, okay? We are going to get over this anxiety about dining alone, all right? The other time that I went out alone was, it was recent as well. There's a lot of recents. It was recent as well. And this couple sat down next to me. I had been sitting there for a while. And they sat down next to me. And the woman was with her husband. And she started chatting with me when he went to the bathroom. And she said, "Oh, you came by yourself?" I said, "Yeah, I do that a lot." And she was like, "That is so cool that you're okay with like going out to dinner by yourself." And I was thinking to myself later how that it's sad that it's cool that I am going out to dinner by myself. Why isn't it normal? Because we live in a world where everybody thinks, well, a lot of people think, you need to stop being at this blanket statement. A lot of people think that it's sad when you don't have a partner, when you're not married, or when you don't have a boyfriend. It's all like this poor lady, she doesn't have anybody. Well, what if this poor lady is comfortable not having anybody? What if this poor lady is doing just fine living her life as a single woman? I'm not saying that I don't ever desire to go on a date or do any of those things, but because I'm not doing that right now, I'm not going to put my life on hold, not going to put experiences on hold as far as dining out or traveling to another city or another state or another country by myself because I don't have anybody, right? That's not me living on the bright side of 50. The bright side of 50 is being bold and assertive and confident enough to do the things that I want to do, regardless of if I have a partner or if I am a single woman. And this is also around dining out. We're going to do this thing, okay? We're going to do this thing. Let's see. I have a couple of notes. Okay, here's another trick for the dining out. You can also go to Google Maps. I think it's Google Maps or Google, and it'll show you the times that the restaurants are most busy. So if you want to go to a restaurant and say it's 6 o'clock and you want to know what the crowd is going to be like between 6 and 7, you can look on Google and it'll show you a graph. And if the graph is high, that means that it's high volume of people in the room at that time. So you may or may not want to go at that time. The other trick is you can go to the restaurant when it first opens. So a lot of restaurants open at 5:30. Some of them even open at 5 o'clock. If you go early, it won't be you and a bunch of people there at the same time. So if you go early, then it'll be a little bit lighter. You'll be able to have more time to spend enjoying your meal, enjoying all of the delicious flavors and having a glass of wine or a nice, martini, whatever your drink is. I like lemon drops too. then you'll be able to do that, and you'll be able to be a little bit more comfortable doing that because it won't be a very busy time at the restaurant. People start to roll in after the restaurants have been open for an hour or so. And so you'll have time to do that. You'll have time to chat a little bit more with the waiter or the waitress, and you will be probably greeted with a little bit more positive vibes because you won't be taking up a two-top that somebody else could have wanted or used. Now, if it's a more popular restaurant, then it's just going to be busy the whole time because everybody wants to eat there. LA has lots of trending restaurants that are super popular for a year or 2 or 3. And so those kinds of places, you may get a little bit of a, side eye for coming by yourself, but go on in there anyway. Okay. Go on up in there anyway. The other thing that I wanted to share really quickly are some really good quotes that I found. And so here they are. They're really cool. So take whichever one lands with you well and makes you happy. There's something empowering about enjoying a meal without relying on anyone else's company. This is from ABC Radio FM. Okay. All of these are. Here's another one. A solo meal can be a moment of blissful solitude in a busy world. I do like that. When I take myself out to dinner, I allow myself to completely unwind, and I try my best not to think about the busyness of the week that I just had or the week that is coming up. If it's a weekend, I just try to really be fully present in the moment and to shut out all of the noise of things to do and places I got to be, at some point. So I try to cut out all the busyness. I like that quote. Eating alone gives you the freedom to choose what, when, and where to eat without compromise. Listen, it's nice to have a boo, right? It's nice to be booed up. It's nice when you and Bae want to go to dinner, but you and Bae don't always want the same thing to eat. Or you and your friends, if it's a group of you, you may not all want to go to the same place, right? And so you'll have to sometimes compromise. You have to compromise on scheduling, coordinating schedules. You'll have to compromise sometimes on where you're going to go. Price points, all of those things have to come into consideration when you're thinking about someone else or other people. So it allows you to do whatever you want to do, have whatever you want to have without compromising. That's kind of good, okay? Enjoying a meal alone gives you the chance to really listen to your own thoughts and desires. When I was at the restaurant on my last dining experience solo, I was really putting myself in places that I had been around the world and how I felt in those moments. Because when I travel, I really try to take it all in to the point where I can relive those moments in my mind and really visualize it. And so as I was sitting at that table, I was enjoying this amazing steak and potatoes and this really nice, beautiful glass of wine, red wine. And I was just remembering having wine when I was in Florence or having, amazing wine when I was in the Tuscan region. I'm not name dropping. I'm just saying I was actually remembering those beautiful experiences that I had had. And I was able to do that without the chatter, without talking to other people, without having my thoughts interrupted, without having to be present with somebody else. I was just being present with Carla. And part of living on the bright side is not only creating new, beautiful memories, right? Positive experiences, but also being grateful for the ones that I've had, right? The ones that I've had. And so I really liked that quote. Eating alone reminds you of the importance of self-care and self-love. When I am dining alone and I'm looking at the menu, if I took myself to that particular restaurant, I took myself to that particular restaurant ready to get what I want to get on the menu. Not looking at the menu thinking, oh my gosh, I would really like that, but I can't really get that. I have looked at the menu prior to going to the restaurant. I know what the price points are. If I can't really afford to go, then I'll go some other time. I'll save my money and go another time. But if I have made the decision to go and I've booked the restaurant, then I'm going to go to the restaurant and I'm going to get whatever I want to eat. and it's my money. It's no one else's money that I need to take into consideration. So it's a pretty lovely experience for me. All right. And it's self-care. And again, self-love, taking time to unwind, leaving the busyness of the world behind you while you're having that hour and a half beautiful dining experience. A table for one can be a beautiful opportunity for self-reflection and gratitude. Really beautiful quote. Eating alone reminds you that you are capable of providing for yourself and finding contentment in your own company. Some people don't like to be alone with their thoughts because their thoughts aren't always positive. And if you are someone who has found yourself when you're alone, going into dark places and not being able to tap into your joy reservoir, and you find that you spiral down when you sit with yourself and you can't be happy, that's a deeper issue. And that's another issue that we really need to tackle. And sometimes I get to that place too. But what that means is that we need to find maybe another outlet, and not just going out and spending money and going out to be busy, but maybe we need to seek some professional guidance, some professional help. Hopefully at this big age, we're not, looking at therapy as something that we don't want to do because we don't believe in it. Hopefully we believe in it. We believe in therapy. You can have therapy, beliefs that it's a good thing. And you can also pray. You can also do both. Okay. You can do both. It's totally fine. Even if you weren't raised that way, that's a topic for a whole nother day. But if you weren't raised that day, I want you to get into that thinking that you can do both. You can pray for yourself. You can have a great connection with God, but you can also seek professional help if you need that. And so if you are, afraid to be alone with yourself, then it's something that you really need to start thinking about. There's a certain peacefulness that comes with dining alone, like a momentary escape from the chaos of the world. That's like the busyness one, okay? And then the last one, a solo meal can be a time to disconnect from the outside world and reconnect with yourself. Think about all the times that you're at work and all of the times that you're interrupted, either digitally by email, maybe you're interrupted on your phone with text messages, maybe you're distracted with, social media. I often find myself doing that. And then maybe someone's coming in and out of your office because you're at work, or maybe you are, at home and the kids are in your face and they need their needs met and you have to do that because you're their parent. Or maybe your husband needs some things or your wife needs some things. And so you have to meet other people's needs other than your own. Well, I love this quote because it allows you to reconnect with yourself. What do you want? What do you need? What are you feeling? What are your desires? What's making you smile right now? What are you looking forward to in life? You get to do all of those things when you're sitting at that restaurant by yourself. It's all about you, girl. It's all about you. When that waiter comes and he asks you what you're having, what would you like? It's a really great experience. When I was at the restaurant the last time I went dining out solo, they kept calling me Miss Palmer. Let me tell you something. The way that sounded and the way that just landed in my spirit so nicely. Miss Palmer, would you like another glass of wine? Miss Palmer, would you like X, Y, and Z? Miss Palmer, here you go, Miss Palmer. Can I get you anything else, Miss Palmer? Man, let me tell you something. I was eating that up. They had the best music playing in the background. They had some Sade. They had some other R&B jams. They had, some rock, some soft rock. It was just such a lovely experience. And I had taken myself out because I hadn't had the greatest week prior. And I just, wanted to get out. And I had some sad moments at the table when I was I let my mind go to something I shouldn't have let it go to, but it did, and I processed through it for a second, and then I went back to being in that moment. But it was great, and it's always a work in progress. It's not always like this. I'm just gonna go eat, and nothing negative is gonna pop in my mind. I'm gonna have the best experience, and nothing's gonna get in my way and make it a negative experience. Not anything. It's all gonna be hunky dory. La 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 la. Like, that's not exactly how it goes, but you can bring yourself back to being present with that experience if your mind starts to wander and go into places where it's not going to be the most positive experience that you'd hoped it to be, right? You can just say, hey, we're not doing that today, brain, mind. This is not what we're going to do today. Today, it's all about me right now, in this moment, this hour and a half. Also, don't stay at the restaurant for 2 or 3 hours if you were solo dining. Even if you're not solo dining, do not stay at that restaurant and not allow other people to come in and pay and get this restaurant the business that they need to stay open. Okay, so be mindful of that. In LA, I think there's an hour 0.5 rule where you can't stay any longer than that anyway. But if you don't have that rule, make it your own rule. Okay, be respectful, especially if you are solo dining and you're taking up a 2-top table and it's just you. Okay. How did y'all feel about this episode? How you feeling, sis? When is your next dining out experience? When is your next solo dining out experience? Where are you going? Okay. I want you to get on Google and start looking up some restaurants. Ask your friends where are the places that they've been to lately that they really enjoy, whether they single or booed up. Ask them. Go on, look on social media at the latest restaurants that are open, or maybe there's a gym in your neighborhood that you love or you've been wanting to go to. Take yourself to eat. Enjoy it. Get whatever you want on the menu. You absolutely deserve it. And I want you to go and I want you to do that for yourself. Okay? What I also want you to do is to follow The Bright Side of 50 with Carla Palmer. And I want you to share this episode out with your friends. And I want you to come back every Monday in the morning. We drop every Monday morning at 6:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, sometimes 6. It depends on what the app is doing. And then I want you to check us out on 3-Minute Thursdays. Every Thursday, we drop new episodes for 3 minutes. So check those out and share those out. Let's grow this community. All right. We're all in this thing together. We're all trying to elevate and continue to evolve, because this second half of life is going to be better than the first. Okay. We've got so much more life to live, and I am really excited about doing it with you. I look forward to hearing your thoughts about this episode and tagging me when you go to that restaurant by yourself and you have this yummy food. Tag me, be like, hey, GYSB Movement or The Bright Side of 50. Tag both of the pages, but especially The Bright Side of 50. Tag it. Let me see you doing your thing, sis. I want to see you happy. I want to see you living on the bright side. And I will see you next time on The Bright Side of 50 with Carla Palmer. Take care.